Alyssa Thomas, that's what she does. She uses her body.
I will be out Sunday, but I'm feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously, difficult coming back in a back-to-back.
If the NBA is going to review calls, you're saying the WNBA can review calls and act retro.
Sometimes the biggest name in sports talk drops the act and gets brutally honest. That's exactly what happened after June 24th, 2026. Fever versus Mercury. Second quarter. A loose ball hits the floor, and out of nowhere, Alyssa Thomas rams her fist straight into Caitlin Clark's throat. Clark's down defenseless. The ball's nowhere near either of them, and Thomas just steps right over her. No whistle, no foul, nothing. Clark tried to fight through it, but by the third quarter, her back gave out, and she was done for the night. Gone from the game. And that's when Stephen A. Smith stepped in. And trust me, he did not hold back.
If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the cash cow.
He made it clear Clark isn't out here playing innocent. She competes hard. She talks trash. She gives it right back. But Smith drew the line exactly where it needed to be drawn. Fighting for a rebound is basketball. A fist to the throat is not. Those are two different worlds. And then Smith went there. He brought up the one comparison every single person running the WNBA should be losing sleep over.
An elevated level of physicality that obviously compromised her availability last season where she missed a few games. There is a palpable resentment towards this girl, where you have people who are resenting of her star power and her cachet. And as a result, if they have an opportunity to go at her, they're going to...
Here he wasn't finished, he doubled down saying nobody, and he meant nobody should be standing in the way of the one player pulling in all this new attention.
I believe there's been a failure on the part of some people to appreciate the mantra of a rising tide lifts all boats. Ride this cash cow till the wheels come off. They did it in the NBA with Magic Johnson. They did it ultimately with Michael Jordan. You know, that's how you do this. You find somebody that just galvanizes folks and ingratiates themselves with the public at large in such a way where everywhere they go and whatever they do, everybody wants to.
From there, he turned his attention to the whole league. Not just one player, one ref, one team. Everybody's on the hook here, he said. He did give credit where it was due, though, Stephanie White. Because think about it, 2 clean hits on a player who couldn't even defend herself. And there's an official standing right there on the baseline watching the whole thing. No call, no whistle, nothing happens in the moment. And remember, Clark didn't finish that game. Third quarter, her back locks up and she's out for good. But afterward at the podium, Stephanie White didn't dodge it. She said exactly what everyone was thinking.
Aware of what happened 2 nights ago? And that still happens?
What?
Absolutely unacceptable.
No, she didn't do it.
Absolutely
She just
unacceptable.
cursed.
And the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful.
The very next day, the league went back and reviewed the whole thing. And guess what? They upgraded it. Flagrant 2. On top of that, Thomas got hit with a 1-game suspension and a fine of $1,000 for what the league called a non-basket act, recklessly making contact, fist to the throat on a defenseless Clark. And Thomas, she sat out that suspension on Saturday.
WNBA is putting itself, well, in the category of the WWE, where you don't really talk about the games, you talk about all the stupid stuff that's surrounded. They're also trying to make Alyssa Thompson a victim for the throat punch heard around the world of Caitlin.
The backlash was just getting started, and the next man to step up made sure nobody could look away. Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts wasn't about to let this slide quietly. He came out swinging in a statement, spending almost 3 full minutes standing up for his player. In his eyes, Thomas isn't a dirty player, not even close. Instead, he turned the blame straight onto the league, calling their whole process a joke. He claimed the suspension wasn't built on a real investigation at all, just a handful of screenshots pulled off social media. And here's the part that really stung. He said nobody from the league ever picked up the phone to talk to him, to Thomas, or even to their own security team before the punishment got announced. He laid it out plainly. No calls, no questions, no protocol followed. And coming from a background around the NBA, he said that's simply not how these things are supposed to work. Disappointing was the word he kept coming back to. Then came Tuesday, June 30th. Alyssa Thomas finally broke her silence, and what she said only added fuel to the fire. Her take. The whole thing was a total accident. She insisted she had no idea what had even happened until after the final buzzer. And then she dropped something nobody expected. She revealed that she and her teammates have been receiving death threats and racist messages ever since the clip went viral. She didn't stop there either. She took a direct shot at WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert, saying the league is basically letting its players get painted as villains while doing nothing to protect them from the hate pouring in. Here's the thing, though. Basketball is a physical game. Sure, nobody's arguing that. But calling a closed fist to a defenseless player's throat a simple accident, that's a stretch that a lot of people just weren't buying. She framed herself as the one under attack, even though the story started with Clark flat on the floor, a fist against her neck, and an official standing a few feet away who called absolutely nothing. And look, both things can be true at once. Yes, the league needs to protect its players from threats and harassment, but that doesn't erase the need to actually call a foul when a foul that's serious happens right in front of everyone. Once this all hit social media, fans didn't hold back either. The reactions came fast, and they came hard. One comment nailed it. Caitlin Clark is basically forcing this league to grow up and start acting like a real business, whether it wants to or not. Somebody else pointed out how wild it is that a player pulling in record-breaking crowds and revenue is still getting treated like an afterthought. Arenas are selling out just to watch her play. And yet, here we are. Another fan flat out said, "The officiating in this league is spiraling out of control. And if nothing changes soon, one of their brightest stars is going to get seriously hurt." And then there was the viewer who had never watched a single WNBA game before June 24th until this. Their first impression of the entire league. A fist to the throat. That's not exactly the introduction anyone wants for new fans. Other voices went even further, suggesting that officials are letting bias creep into how they treat Clark. Some argued that every time she's the center of attention, it stirs up ugly commentary questioning whether she's getting extra sympathy simply because of who she is. Whatever your take on that angle, it shows just how loud and divided this conversation had become. But Stephen A. Smith wasn't a lone voice shouting into the void. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie jumped into the conversation on national television and didn't sugarcoat anything. She said she wasn't shocked the league eventually went back and fined Thomas, but she couldn't wrap her head around how the officials on the floor missed it completely, especially with replay available. She said it straight. The league has to be better. The officiating has to be better. And yes, the players need to clean up their game, too. As for Thomas walking off without a single word to Clark afterward, Leslie admitted that in the moment watching live, she immediately felt like something crossed the line. She said the officials clearly blew the call, which is exactly why the league had to step back in after the fact. Then, Fever guard Sophie Cunningham hopped on her own podcast and gave maybe the most raw reaction of anyone connected to the team. She admitted that in real time, nobody on the roster even realized what had happened. If they had seen it live, she said they absolutely would have stepped in to defend their teammate. She pointed out how often this kind of rough treatment happens to Clark game after game with the league and officials doing next to nothing about it. And this isn't Cunningham playing it safe either. She's been fined before for speaking her mind about officiating, and she said it anyway because watching a teammate get hit like that would make anyone furious. From outside the WNBA world entirely, two-time Super Bowl champion Luke McCoy weighed in with a comparison that hit hard. He brought up how the NBA used to physically protect Michael Jordan once he became the face of the league, cracking down hard on teams like the old Detroit Pistons for their rough treatment of him. He pointed to the NFL doing something similar after quarterbacks like Tom Brady took brutal hits to the knees. Leagues adjusting the rules specifically to protect their biggest stars. His question was simple and blunt. If you don't protect your franchise player now, What exactly happens to the future of the league? Sports commentators piled on too. One widely shared post called it outright embarrassing that the most influential player in the history of the league keeps getting treated like she doesn't matter. Others compared her cultural impact to legends like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird lifting the NBA in the 80s, or Tiger Woods transforming golf money almost overnight. The argument kept repeating itself in different words. This player is the reason private jets, national broadcasts, and packed arenas are suddenly part of this league's reality. And yet, she's the one absorbing the hardest hits with the least protection. There was also a heavier conversation swirling underneath all of this about privilege, about race, about why some players seem to get more grace and sympathy than others. Some pointed to past stars like Brittany Gurrier, who had to go overseas just to get paid fairly, and questioned why the sport's power structures treat different players so differently. It's an uncomfortable layer to this story, but it's one that kept surfacing again and again as fans and analysts tried to make sense of why this specific incident blew up the way it did. Through all of it, nobody was calling Alyssa Thomas some kind of villain. That was never really the point. The real point, the one Stephen A. Smith kept hammering home, is about protecting your biggest asset. When you have a player driving unprecedented attention, unprecedented ticket sales, and bringing in millions of brand new fans who had never cared about this league before, you don't let old resentment or sloppy officiating put that at risk. You ride the wave. You build around it. Most importantly, you protect it. Because here's the brutal truth. If that wave ever breaks, if an injury lingers, if the very player responsible for this explosion in popularity ever decides this league isn't protecting her the way it should, that moment doesn't just come back around whenever you want it to. Opportunities like this one don't repeat on command. Maybe it takes another decade to find someone like her again. Maybe it never happens again at all. So, the real question left hanging over this entire situation is simple. A 1-game suspension and $1,000 fine after a closed fist landed on a defenseless player's throat. Is that actually appropriate punishment? Is that what protecting your biggest star looks like? Is that really how you honor the wave that one player built from nothing? That's the debate the entire sports world is having right now. And it's not slowing down anytime soon. So, what do you think? Did the league get this one right? Or did they completely drop the ball? Drop your take in the comments. Hit like if you want to see more breakdowns like this, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update the moment this story develops further.